What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I promise not to disappoint you. Anyway, we got a brother on tonight because we did the Larry Hoover stuff. I really wanted to bring this brother on. He did about 25 years in the feds. He did a stretch for 11, then another 15. We're going to talk about all that. I know that, he was on count everywhere he went. What that means is he was a GD, and he is a GD. So we'll talk a little bit about Larry Hoover. We'll talk about all the things that he's been involved in, some of the things that he's seen. But anyway, hey, Duff, tell the people who you are and let's get busy.
Man, they know me, man. I'm Gerald Duffy. Been around the system 25 years. Been everywhere. Jessup, Leavenworth, USP, Atlanta, Talladega. I done been around. And I called Chad last night, man. It drove my attention. I bumped him. I said, damn, this cat deep, man. And, saying he circulated the system. So, I'm here with him tonight. And he said, hey, Duff, step on. Put a word in. I said, good. Then he told me it was about Larry Hoover. I said, shit. I can't beat that. I'm old now, but I grew up in it. Out of Jackson. I'm from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Went to Jackson, Mississippi in 88. I went to school at Jackson State University. I'm alumni. And I ain't got to tell y'all, 87, 88, Jackson, Mississippi. Bam, that's where Larry Hoover from. Our side of town, Jackson, Mississippi. He moved up there to Chicago. That's where we represented it. I'm 274, not just 74. I'm back in the day, Anybody know anything about Jackson, Mississippi? They gonna know Nug. They gonna know I said. I'm Duff. They all know. Represented the system. Got a lot of homies hit me up every day. But I respected what Chad was doing, and I hit him up. I said, man, what's going on? And I'm here.
So let's do this then, Duff. We'll talk a little bit about Larry in a minute. I didn't know he's originally from Mississippi.
He's originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I done had the privilege. In 1992, I hit USP Atlanta. You had JR in there from Chicago, second on count. Every Saturday morning, it was 9 of us. Bump that phone every morning. We all got to get a feel of Larry Hoover. And I stuttered and he stuttered. But we was always, what's up? What's up, my man? That was every Saturday morning. But then at 92, we went in the feds then. He wasn't even hit yet. You know what I'm saying? All that came about later on as we grew.
I hear you. Right now, Larry's trying to get out of prison. He's got a compassionate release motion in.
Read the article, right.
The government's fighting him tooth and nail. Really, what he's trying to do really is just to get released from the ADX, send him over to state prison, let him deal with that when he gets there. He's got, opportunities for parole and all of that. And in his motion, he talks about, a bunch of other dudes that, have done, crimes just as bad as him or even worse that have been released. All of his co-defendants, I believe, have been released. What do you think?
I done went home waiting for him early before he was starting on this mess here.
And I know that you did a lot of law work in prison. I believe that they're going to release Larry on the federal level. What do you believe?
I mean, from the heart to be real, it's all about influence. It's all about, nobody ain't no fool. Larry Hoover is Larry Hoover. Nobody can change that and nobody can stop that. Now his mentality, you grow as you change. When I was young, he's on my paperwork. They know me. I shot 3 dudes in a 6-month period of time. Point blank. Bam, bam, bam. I had got out of it. Right now, I can lay low as I want, but that will always be out there. They don't want to hear it. They know it. Larry the same way. But Larry has changed many lives in a positive way, not just a negative way, because you can feed me an ideology, and I can take it and run with it good, or I can take it and run with it bad. You get a group of bad people, not bad people, uneducated people looking for a leader. And when you get the wrong, and I can say the wrong leader, you get the wrong influence, it trickles down. But Larry, man, he's very influential. I'm trying to say he's influential. It's time for him to come out. It's just time for him to come. It's nothing I can say there's nothing that say he can do. He can do a lot. But I really think that he didn't change, because he didn't change a lot of people. He done did what he had to do. He can lay down now. Everybody know he'll never hit another lick at a snake. But the federal government know we can't change that.
And what they did is, I want people to be clear on this too. They took Larry Hoover and they said, you know what? Somebody said, we don't like Larry Hoover. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick you in the ADX and say, you're too influential. You can control too much stuff. So we're going to put you in the ADX and we're going to torture you mentally and emotionally. And that's what they've done.
That's all that's about. Because you know yourself, and you've been in these federal penitentiaries, you got some guys, I'm not going to say just as big as Larry, but it's the difference between being in that ADX and being in that USP compound. You can think a little better. Like he said, when you do time like us, you go into that hole. She gonna break out sometime. You gonna lay down for a month or 2 or 3. Not never no damn 20 years, 30 years. You don't do that. You know what I mean? So they know what they're doing.
So,
I hate that for them, and we're gonna petition ourselves to death until we get it done.
let me ask you this, Duff, right? I know you worked in the law library and all that, but what did you end up going to prison for? What did you go to the feds for the first time?
I first went in the feds in 1991 on a 922 Jeep. Convicted felon in possession of a firearm. I actually banished the gun. Got guy went and told Duff banished the gun. They locked me up. Never found the gun, but they had statements saying that Duff did it. They couldn't give me the mandatory 5 because they had never found the gun. They couldn't give me in possession. I counted 16 months, 922 G, the big defender position of firearm. While I'm doing that time, I came in with 16 months. As I'm doing that time, I got less than 2 months left to go to the door. They indicted me on my first 18 USC 848 as a 22-year-old. Stronger you can get. 5 co-defendants, pushing more than 100 bricks out of Houston, Texas. That was the indictment. It's 848 and 846. I did that. I counted 10 years on that. I had to do 12 because I was already in the system doing that 16. They didn't run it. Did the 12, came home in 2001. Didn't stay out 9 months. I ain't had to learn nothing. Came home, got to the same groove. Listen, 9 months, I get the same case coming out of Houston, Texas. They take the 2 priors. I had to plead the 15 years on a career offender with that. And it wasn't nothing. It wasn't missed up. It wasn't even a half a key assault. I caught everything, came through, never got a cut with the crack, never got a cut. And they wouldn't even cut the career offenders. When they did all these 2-point cuts and all that, they didn't even cut the career offenders. I stuck. I had to do day for day out the door, man. Caught every bad lick it was. But now, when I came home this time, I understand, you know. You got to be good or you got to be good at it, you know. I ain't good at it, so I'm going to have to be good.
I mean, and that's the message right there. A lot of people ain't good at it, right?
Man, listen, when you read my book, Chad, because I'm a person that send this book to you, I'm going to find the page up in here. I told you after doing 11 years, I shook the officer hand leaving out of R&D, and that's what he told me when he bumped my ear. He said, Doug, be good out there or be good at it. In my book, I turned around, looked his ass in the eyes and say, I'm going to try to be good at it. And I didn't make it, man. I didn't make it 9 months. So when I came home this time, I ain't going to be good at nothing. I'm going to be good. I'm 53, man. I spent 25 years, 8 months in South Federal Penitentiary. I've been in prison more than I've been on the streets. And that's hella for the say.
That's
54 years old.
That's a sad reality, but you know.
Yeah, but it is what it is, man. That's the name of the book, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
We're going to put the link for your book because I want people to read it. And there's also something, you know, I read a little thing on Amazon where you were talking about, you know, the young African-American brothers that are out there, you know, struggling and, you know, caught up in the game. And, you know, you want to try to help fix that, you say, you know, in your little thing about your book, your synopsis, right?
Right. Because my thing is that, I mean, not saying that you didn't take it out of engine, but it do take a lot of determination to do anything. It takes determination to get in the dope game. Period. And when you get in that game, when you learn something about that game is not easy the way you think that game really is. If you focus more on what you like to do and what you good at, and you practice that, that'll take you to the sky. And you don't have to never worry about every time you walk out your house, you got to look behind your back and all that, man. But I caught high blood pressure in that place for 25 years, man. When I walked out of there, it was like I can't even explain. You can't even tell people what it is. And we came off lockdown in Yazoo. That's why I said I've been around some of the most coldest killings that's been inside penitentiary. If you ever know, I was there with Boy George used out of New York. But I was in Terry Hut in 1993 when Roe got killed. The big man with the thing up in Chicago. He got stabbed in the chow hall when the Bloods. I'm in there that morning. Rock. Remember Rock? He was a shot caller, hell leader out of Chicago.
So
I'm killed in Terry Hut.
I'm a little younger than. Listen now, I'm a little younger than you, but
okay.
Let's.
You said you had knew Boy George, so that's why I asked you that.
I helped out a little bit on the Boy George case with his lawyer that was trying to get him out on compassionate release.
In '93 when it went down. That's why I said I know these cats from years ago, man.
So let's talk about some of the things, and we're going to get back into, the youth selling drugs. So I want you to think a little bit about that because I'm going to ask you some pretty pointed questions. But let's go back to some of the things that you've seen in the penitentiary, man. What's one of the worst things that you've ever seen or ever witnessed happen in there?
It's a lot of them, but it'd be that 93 morning in Terry Hut, man, when that tension was on that yard, man, and everybody came in that chow hall. You felt the tension, but all of a sudden, they drag these tables with the thing, they move around, they drag them to the door quick, put 3, 4 of them on every door in Terry Hut where ain't nobody in and nobody out. They got a fresh 20 by the door waiting for the CO, and they got a fresh 20 working these people. That's real, And then, like you say, you go to the thing, I just telling my girl the other day, man, you can't get a peace of mind back there. It's never a peace of mind because they gonna politic all day about nothing, the littlest shit. The big shit slides. The littlest shit is what jumps the compound out, man. And I done seen that. Like you said, when you in and out that hole, man, I can't even describe because it's an everyday thing. Like I said, in 93, USP Terry Hut had 11 to 12 leave out that pound dead in 1 year, man. It don't seem like, but that's a lot of people, man, that's dying leaving out them places, man. That's something that's not being talked about. And you talked about that too. When I first came in, you can stab somebody, as long as it didn't die, you can get it out. You're going to go to that hole for 3, 4 months and you're going to come out. And that's a different mentality on the compound when people know that. Versus now, man, stick that knife in somebody, man, you're going to the courtroom. That's the bottom line. You're going in and out. And you can sit right here talking about who telling. They're going to line up on your ass, man. And that's just the bottom line. They're going to line up on your ass, man, because guess what? One thing everybody got in common back there, they want to come home. If they ain't got nothing else in common, they want to come home. And that's the bottom line. Like you say, you could be King Kong back there, but after some years, it'll wear on your ass, man. So it's an everyday thing, man. That's why when you was naming last night the 5 things you died for in penitentiary, I really thought suicide would probably be the first one. I would think that.
Well, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, things that I've actually seen, things that I experienced in a maximum security prison.
They see that suicide, but you bump it every now and then. They bump their yard one morning. Hey, man, such and hung himself in the hole, man. Or such and such city, or whatever the business may be. That's common, too. The medical thing was common. I thought you were going to say messing with the gays, that'll get you killed quick. Owing people, that'll get you killed quick. And that gambling. You put that wine in there, that wine gonna kick it off. But that's when you, like you said, man, when you're in this type of environment, you got to have the right state of mind. You got to be clicking in all cylinders, man. When you in this type of thing, like you said, the guy killed the guy the other night when you was talking about it, and when he jumped off, please don't kill me. You hear that shit 1,000 times, but you hear real motherfuckers say, because guess what? That's what they live on. He hyping him up. I done jumped out and put a blinky. I hear the thing. You heard about don't kill me. No, you got me really want to go now. You might well sit there and fade it. You might well sit there and fade it and get him off your ass a little better. And then he might bag up. Versus, please don't kill me and all that. You got goons in there. That's just the bottom line. That's why when I read your thing last night, you tell my ear, I said, man, this dude's strong, man. I could tell. When you back there, it's a certain type of lingo you got. R&D, the whole 2255, COA. You're talking another language, You can't fake that.
Well, Duffy, we live that life, and when you live that life so long, I tell people, man, I'm a prison expert. I was there long enough to be an expert, So, but I want people to understand something that you said, because some people that are watching this ain't never been to prison. They might have some loved ones in there. When you said back in the day you could stab someone in prison, as long as you didn't kill them, there were really no consequences, right?
Everybody knew that. This thing didn't change. I said, when I first came in, it wasn't no idiot. You was going to Marion. That's where you was going. You only had 5 or 6 of major penitentiaries. Lewisburg, Leavenworth, USP, Atlanta, Long Pop. Been every one of them, except Long Pop out west. So you're going to know the players and the vibe. You're going to know what's up.
You went in there as a young you went in there as a young man. Did you ever have to put in any work over there?
You gonna do that. I was gonna send you one of my shots coming out the door. I ain't 30 days out the door. All my Mississippi guys know me. I'm 30 days out the door. Just to be real with you. Buy the microwave, get up on the round side of the bed. Old school cat, we cool. Man, I'm next to the microwave. Man, I'm next to the microwave. Bop! Get me in my mouth. It jumped out just that quick. The goddamn shot said after Duffy got hit, that what messed me up. I set my cup down and we got at it. When we go to the hallway, the only way that we weren't gonna give you nothing. If you would have took the lick and bagged up, we got it on camera. We know he hit you first. But you still, we ain't gonna take no good time, but you still going back to that hole because you had enough time between the time he hit you and from the time you put your cup down, you had enough time then. If y'all would have went at it, that was different. You had no time to think about it, and y'all still went at it. And it's the only reason that they let me out, but they didn't give me another case. They didn't give me a 100 series.
What did you do? Did you stab him?
No, we just got down by the microwave. I ain't had time to do nothing. That was I said that was a bam. That wasn't no when we come out the count or later on the day we gonna do it. Now, just like I said to my wife, going to the shower, man, they wearing boots, man. Boots and knives and somebody outside your door. Or two of your I'm on count. So 2 DGs, but when I went to Mississippi, I'm still on count. But I'm on count with Mississippi too. And they buy strong right there. So I'm going, I'm really riding. But like you say, I'm more older. I grew up with the bullshit. But when you get older, people look up to you. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to make good decisions because if you're not making good decisions and you know what I'm saying, you got a word on that compound and shit always messing up, you finna go. You know what I'm saying? So you got to almost have sin. And I grew into that. Everything ain't worth killing for. You can't tell them that inside the penitentiary.
You ever have to put that knife on anybody?
I ain't never put that knife on nobody. Throughout the whole time I was there. I ain't never put that knife on nobody.
Well, I mean, listen, that's a good thing. I'm glad that you didn't. How about, you're running GD, you're a gangster disciple.
Yeah, I'm on count everywhere I go. I'm done.
I know you done told us now. I know. It's all good. So now, you ever been anywhere where the GDs got into it with anybody?
No, because the places I done been, well, GDs always are going to get into it. It just depends on at what level they're going to get into it. And, it was a different environment as I got older because I wasn't really into the banging. I wasn't really a foot soldier no more. I really was, that ain't worth it or that is worth it. You see what I'm saying? So you got to grow out of it. And I grew out of it quick because I knew one thing. You can't go this long, that strong. You're in a law library, you got a little rep on the yard, start writing books, start writing something to get what you got up here out there so they really can understand you. Because they know, and that's what kind of messed me up. They know me from back then. So as people see you, they looking at that person back then. When you passing out books and you saying, hey man, we sharp, man, we can do this shit another way, man. Then people start, you know what I'm saying? It takes time, but I'm there now, But going through that transition stage, I really got lucky, but I didn't seen it,
I want you to do me a favor. I'm gonna put your book up right when I edit this, but read me the front of that book. What does it say on the front of that book?
The synopsis or the front?
The front.
The front, man. It is what it is. Systematic incarceration disguised racism. That's the name of the book.
Now, what's the synopsis say?
Let me put my glasses on and bump it for you. That'll give you a feel of it. My eyes ain't good, but I'm going to get you there. Yeah, don't worry about this. I'm going to get you there. The most explosive, dynamic, and compelling autobiography ever written from behind the walls of United States Federal Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. Now, after continuously serving more than 20 years inside some of the most violent, dangerous, and drug-infested federal penitentiaries throughout this nation, Gerald Hawthorne Duffy finally tells his story. As an African-American raised in southern Mississippi, by far one of the most racist and poverty-stricken regions in this nation, raised in private Catholic institutions, ran away from home at the age of 15 after experiencing child abuse and domestic violence, graduated from high school as an elite football and track athlete, then went on to attend Alcorn and Jackson State, two historically black universities. From being honored one of the highest academic awards as a freshman to becoming a central figure as a junior in the largest and most probable federal cocaine conspiracies to originate from southern Mississippi in the late 80s through the early 90s. Its network of centers extended as far as Miami, New York, and ultimately Houston, Texas. This story depicts Duffy's childhood years, takes a glimpse into the struggles of college life, and a look into the vicious underworlds of America. Intertwined with statistical facts and professional analysis concerning African Americans' financial, social, educational, and political conditions here in America. It exposes the so-called war on drugs, who that war was actually waged against, and the true hidden agenda behind the white power structure in America. This book finally shows with knowledge of self, along with a sound education, we all can change, become productive leaders and pillars in our community, and uplift other African American youth. Very inspirational, educational, and a must read for anyone seeking change.
So I'm going to put that.
I know about Guardia in Queens.
Now listen to me now. I mean, that sounds like the type of book that, my viewers will probably want to check out. I'm going to read the book, right?
You're going to love it. That's why I sent it.
When you emailed me and you sent me the link to your book, I went on there and read it and said, you know what? I'm going to hit this dude up and interview him tonight. This is what's going to happen. And
okay, did you say that?
I mean, we're on this interview. You emailed me today. We're on this interview today, right?
I told you. I'm a rock and roll, man.
So anyway, you said a lot of important things on the back of that book, right? And it grabbed my attention. I said, man, this dude's somebody, man. I'm going to talk to this cat. So now let's talk a little bit about the youth, right? It doesn't just have to be African American youth. It could be Hispanics. It could be Mexicans.
Who is that?
It could be, poor whites. I'm Irish, bro. And
right.
And a lot of people say that
my environment was just the young blacks every day. So that was my environment,
No doubt, but listen,
I understand what you're saying. Change is for anybody who wants and needs change.
I understand that. So I want to ask you. You got to let me talk now. I know you rough and
I ain't interviewing you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take over, go ahead, brother.
I ain't interviewing you.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? A lot of these young kids, including myself at one point in time, including yourself, you were a young man, big cocaine conspiracy. Why are we drawn to the criminal life? Why are these young kids selling drugs, man? Why are these young kids? It's absolutely out of control now. There was a 12-year-old shot and killed last night in my city. He was walking with his homeboy that was 16. They shot him too. They shot the 12-year-old. They killed him. But why are so many young kids involved in this life, man? And I'm going to answer it after you.
The wrong people. We look up to the wrong. We look up to the wrong people. We idolize the wrong things. We what I'm saying. We look up to the wrong movies. You know what I'm saying? The wrong books. If it's about killing and pimping, they want to read it. If it's about education or something that's going to take you to the next level and understanding stocks and portfolios and things that's going to really take you to the next level. Let me tell you something I learned. It's hard to drop out of school in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade and blend in with society and keep up. You see, it's going to be a certain point you're going to start lagging. You're going to start lagging. You're not keeping up with the flow. And when you start lagging, you're going to start doing what people lag do. And they sit around all day. They want to smoke. They want to drink. You got to make some money doing that. So you get into a system, and before you know it, man, you're really deep into it. Because it's a money game. And money going to keep you going until you get busted. That's the thing about that. All this illusion about I'm going to get in the game, give me 100,000. Game is not like that, man. That's an illusion. If I done got 100,000, I think I'm slick enough to get 200,000. I ain't got enough sense to know that you're the luckiest man in the world to get that $100,000. You see what I'm saying? You looking at it like, yeah, I seen Jimbo do it. I seen Lil Ray do it. But you didn't see him take his life. He had his life took. You didn't see him go do 25 years. That's the thing, too. If you don't know what you're getting into and you don't know what you're facing, you don't need to mess with that.
Let me say this, right? I believe if you want to stop crime, you got to stop poverty. I think a lot of it has to do with character education. A lot of it has to do with, there not being a father in the house, and dudes gravitate to, their homeboys, and, they're all fatherless. And they're like, look, man, this is what it is, man. We're 14, 15 years old thinking we're men because we have to grow up fast. And now, like you said, it's a money game. We want a car. We want food to eat. We want clothes to wear. And if we don't have that, we're thinking, man, McDonald's ain't going to get it. Working at McDonald's ain't going to get it, right?
Who don't? But I read a book about this guy that was on, what's his name, this black guy. I want to say Nathan McCall.
I want to holler? Nathan McCall, I want to holler?
Is that it? About the Pharaoh book? Yeah.
I think you wrote a book called I Want to Holler. I read it many, many years ago.
Yeah, I read it many, many years ago too. But he broke down a couple of pages that showed the difference between if you had a minimum wage McDonald's job starting at 20 years old and you went to penitentiary. I mean, if you hustled for 2-3 years, he did the math on all that. After all that McDonald's job, you would pass that person that did all them goddamn years in that penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? So if your goal is to come up, if your goal is to come up, you can't be in the streets. You know, you gotta have a real pace job. Man, next year I'll be at this. Next year I'll be at that. Not next month I'll be at half a key. And then if I get my 30 days in, I'll be at brick now and I can chill. No, man, you set yourself up for a lifetime of destruction. That's all.
A lifetime of destruction.
I've seen. You said education. When you come inside federal penitentiary, you've been in there. It's not a lot. I took advantage of a lot of the CDO classes and all this, but it's not a lot of rehabilitation. So you gotta break a routine, and I believe with education you do it. They require education back there up to a GED. If you ain't got a GED, all this, but after that, you need something more than a GED to maintain in this world right here, man. You need more than that, man. You know. When I went in there and read, man, the more I read, the more I found out you don't know nothing about what's going on in this world. I'm talking about all the way to religion, the fundamental stuff that you take for granted. It's a deception in all this. And with that deception come a mind deception too. We learn more about the real world, about what they doing in other countries and stuff, and that's what the federal penitentiary gave me. Gave me a chance to be around all type of cultures. I'm from southern Mississippi. I grew up around them with black and white. The first time I'm seeing dreaded people and Asian people, when I hit the federal penitentiary, it talks about it in the book. You know what I'm saying? For real. A lot of these guys that you're saying that's coming out here, the young guys, these guys they left out in county. You know what I'm saying? You're in New York with a borough. These cats ain't even been out the state. You know what I'm saying? So when your environment consists of something that's so, it's nothing to learn in an environment. It's not a learn for environment, you know? I went to school. I had a scholarship. Oh, yeah, and I went all going state because I ran track. I was in 11th grade. I was the second fastest man in the state of Mississippi, the 120-yard high hurdle. I ran that. Signed a 4-year scholarship. Yeah, as I got to school. I ran home at 15. I could never go to school. But I stayed in high school. I played football and track. And that got me to college. But me not having that, I never would have went to federal penitentiary and excelled. You know, I would have went, if I dropped out in 9th grade, I couldn't come and write a book inside federal penitentiary that nobody edited. I page for page, word for word, I edited that book. You know, that's a lot. You know, I've seen guys write books back then they give it to somebody else to edit, but you know, with education, it's gonna come a whole different world.
So listen, you got this college education, but now you jump into the drug game. How'd that happen?
When you read the book, you'll see it. I was in college, a typical college. That's where the make and break comes. I'm in college. Nobody's sending me money. There's no jobs on the compound. I'm living from, you know, from day to day. Hoping Granny sick, because I had lived with my grandma. Hoping Granny sent me $20, $30 that week. You know what I'm saying? So as that went across, 88 turned to 89. And that introduced that crack. And you start off like I said. Let me get a little bit of it, buy me a pair of shoes, and I'm going to class tomorrow, but let me get this and let me get that. Now I need a car because, and like you say, now I don't see I can go to school for 4 years to get what I got right now. Get some money. That's what I'm going to school. That's what I thought. See, this is another thing. I ain't going to school get no. I'm going to school get some money. When you're supposed to be going to school get education.
Yeah.
So I'm working there now when I make some money. So now when the money starts flowing, I don't need the education no more. That's what I thought. That's what I said about that game. It's going to take you down through there. It's going to make you somebody that you're not. That's what I said. It's going to, like penitentiary. That shit will make you somebody that you're not. Until you catch yourself and say, man, I come too far for this. I got this. You know what I'm saying?
Very few winners in the game, right, Duff?
I ain't seen that many, man. I ain't seen that many. Because you know what? The game is not designed. The game is not, when you play a game that's not designed for you to win, you crazy to even sit down and if I was sitting at a chess table and everybody was telling me in my ears, all the players, duh, it ain't designed for you to win. You ain't seen nobody win yet, really. So you still want to sit there and play because the stakes are so, if you could check his ass right here, that's 100,000. Man, that man now, you can't get close to that man on the chicken tip, you know? It's an illusion, man. Until we, I ain't gonna say come together because everybody got their own thing going on. Until we educate ourselves, man, to know what's good and what's bad. You said the other day, man, in federal penitentiary, that's not it. But if you take a chance, it is a chance that you will go. And if you go, this is what you face. Don't call me, Chad, you ain't tell me, man, this is real, man. This ain't that scared straight in high school.
I mean, you know, I put pictures up before. I've sent people pictures to show people. You know, it's definitely a dangerous place, dangerous environment. a place where people actually die on a regular basis. And, you know, a lot of young dudes are out here getting money. They don't realize, man, there's someone bigger, badder, and tougher than them when they get to that penitentiary, right?
Yeah, it ain't no doubt about it. And believe me, I would say this to everybody though. I would say throughout the years, you would have to have heard this before. This is not nothing new to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like you. I don't know really what. If I tell my kids something, I keep on telling them. I mean, it's gonna be a nick. I'm gonna have to hit you on your ass. You know, then now if you ain't listening now, I'm gonna have to do something else. You know what I'm saying? And
It's not even about Duff. It's not even about being scared straight. You know, it's a dangerous place, whatever. But what were some of the things that hurt your feelings the most, man? You ever go to bed hungry in the federal penitentiary?
no, I can't say that I went to bed hungry.
Hold up, I'm gonna stop you. I don't think you're being truthful, brother. You ever been on a lockdown and ain't had no food because you been locked down?
Nothing else. You said yeah. I thought somebody's on a regular date. No, on lockdown, everybody gonna run to their last 10 suits. It's gonna get bad. Now that ain't nothing. Yeah. But I ain't gonna say that I never got used to that because you can't never get used to going to bed hungry. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, there's no living to get adjusted to. I got adjusted to that, but you said one thing that hurt me. What really hurt me in 2008 when my grandmother died, and I couldn't be there at her funeral. You know, now that's a hurt that you could never really describe, man. And to make a long story short, I'm gonna pull myself. I was in a hole. I was in Leavenworth. Got busted on a dirty urine. Came up in there one morning. They really busted us that night on the 12 o'clock count. Me and my son, he's smoking. He smelled smoke. He didn't say nothing. I felt that because he hit me. I'm over there by smoking. And I seen the flashlight. Then I seen the light bump back. He ain't say nothing. First thing that morning, 6 o'clock, they opened the door. 2 or 3 of them there, come on out. Let's go fish. I went to the hole. I ain't had started writing my book. I put my book in 12. I started writing it in 8. I went to that hole, man. I stayed back there I'd say about 30 days. It was only 30, 45 days. But 2 or 3 weeks into that, they came to the door. Doug, what's up? Come on, you going to the chapel. I ain't got a clue who's who right now. You know, I got 2 grandmamas that's out there. I mean, you don't know when you're going to the chapel. It could be a 25-year-old. You know, mama, daddy, ain't got to be nobody old. You know what I'm saying? But you hoping for that, because that's what you to brace yourself up. You don't want to hear my mama. But, man, that hurt me walking down there. Walking out that hole in Leavenworth down that yard till they took nothing to the chapel, man. Man, that hurt me bad. And that made me, when I spent the rest of that time in that dirty urine, I came out and started writing. It is what it is.
How about Thanksgiving and Christmas? You know, the holidays are coming up. What did it feel like for 11 years and then 15 years to be there on Thanksgiving, calling home? You know, your family's together, but you're not there. What's it feel like, man?
I want to say you feel like that you let them down, but that's actually what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's a hurt, man, that you just could never get over. You know what I'm saying? And I came home, and I tried to move fast like I was trying to catch up, but you'll never catch that up. You just gotta get in the flow, man. When you be surprised, I mean, you know, you come home when people was 6 and 7 years old, and you come home, they 22, 23. You don't know these people no more. These people don't know you no more. As much as you want to still say that, you gotta really start over, man. You gotta start over. And that's what I said, man. If you don't use that, nothing will change you. You just lost because some people just say they're not gonna change. Chad, you know that. It's just I didn't see it. You tell me the thing last night about the guy, but then say I didn't see it. You in a whole one-on-one with somebody you really don't know shit about, and bam, cut you, slice you, take your eye out, all this shit. That is real, man. You know what I'm saying? That is real. That's not no play face. And when you go through that, man, if they don't change your life, nothing will, I think.
Well, Duffy, look, man, I mean, you dropped some jewels on us tonight. Before we get ready, you know, I appreciate you coming on, but before we get ready to go, right?
Never, Chad. I'm here for you, man.
I want you to, you know, what would you tell a youngster that's on the wrong path? I mean, you said a lot of things tonight, right? But what would you tell a youngster on the wrong path?
Well, first, I would say you got to stop. Whatever you're doing, I mean, the key to a hole is that you got to stop digging that ditch. You know what I'm saying? That's first of all. Before you can come up, you got to stop digging. You got to stop going down. You got to stop and look around. Like I said, you got to see what you're good at. You know what I'm saying? What stage are you in? Are you 20 years old and you're not on track, or you're 14? You know what I'm saying? Or you 25? You know, you got to stop and see where you're at. You in the 9th grade? Did you drop out in the 9th grade and now you 20? Or you went to college, you know what I'm saying, then got off track. Everybody didn't get off track at the same time, but everybody, it's a track that you get back on. You know, if you're not working, that's quite obvious. You got to work in this society. You know what I'm saying? And you got to put forth. You know, that's one thing I found out about this world right here. They're not giving up too much. And you know that, Chad. I'm talking about that. I'll tell my daughter today, one of the hardest things in the world is for somebody to get some money out your pocket. They can talk this and they can talk that, boy. If you talk some money out of my pocket, we cool. You know what I'm saying? And you can't deal with everybody. That's one of the hardest things in the world to get. It's the money. But you know what I learned too, Chad? It's the happiness and a lot of more things that besides the money that we gotta instill in people besides the money. Okay. Because if you money generated, money gonna move you, man. I mean, you got a price. You know, you gotta stop. You gotta value other things besides money. Like you say, family. When you ask me what you got, I ain't because I lost my cars and my money. No, I could have easily said that. I lost my grandmama, man. That hurt me the most like that.
So, you know, tonight, I want the message to be what you said about digging, right? We don't realize, man, we're digging a hole. And eventually you're going to fall in the hole because a lot of people don't dig the hole and put a bridge over it. Most people that are in the game, most people that are in the street, it's a losing game. So you can keep digging, but eventually you're going to fall in that hole and then you can't get out. Then when, you know, falling in the hole is when they take you to federal court and they give you even 15 years or 20 years. That's a long time. 30 years, 40 years, life. Now you're in the hole and there's no way out. That's the message tonight, brother.
That's right. I agree with you 100%, Chad.
I know you got 2 books, right? Tell the people what the name of that book is. I'm going to put it in the link. Tell the people what the name of the books are.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Systematic incarceration disguised racism. And the second book, it's one of the strongest books, I'm not just talking. It's St. Peter's, The Conspiracy of the Century. It's a hell of a novel. I'm
going to read that. I'm going to read both of them books. I'll buy them tomorrow.
I'm going to take you on a chase. And I wrote it with extensive research inside that federal penitentiary with a little knowledge.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So listen, Duff, I appreciate you coming on the show, talking about, you know, your experiences. You know, we touched a little bit on Larry Hoover, but at the end of the day, man, the message is stop digging a hole that you can't get out of. I'm going to close the show. Tell people if they like it, share it, subscribe. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.